Hey guys, how are you all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic. Welcome back to the channel. And today what I have for you guys is another review. Today we're tackling Ninjago, episodes 7 and 8. Let me just make sure. Yes, I have to check my phone. Episodes 7 and 8, Ninja versus Lava. And of course, the next one, Snake Catastrophe? Snake Catastrophe? Snake Catastrophe, that's what it is. Snake Catastrophe. That's so hard to say. So it's kind of strange because Season 11 is very different. You know, you have stuff that's like a branching storyline with like Antonia and Little Nelson, and then you have like the Snake Catastrophe episode, which I'll get to in a little bit here. And they're very different. You know, they're branching storylines on branching characters, and then it all comes together in the end. You know, to fit into the wider grand scheme of things. And I think that's really smart, and they executed it perfectly in the last one that I reviewed with Antonia and Little Nelson. However, episode 7, Ninja vs. Lava, of course, deals with the ninja being, you know, chained by Asphira. Clutch Powers is in Ninjago City. Asphira and her fire snakes are blowing up Ninjago City. And everyone's getting terrorized, and they're like, well, where are the friggin' ninja? And, of course, we find out where the ninja are. They're still in the pyramid. And they get out. Of course, Kai was still knocked out because Asphira took his power. But with all that... Spoilers. I completely forgot to say that. It'll be in the title, but there are spoilers in this video, sorry. Anyway, on the video. So yeah, he essentially, he's unconscious, right? Because he got knocked over and, you know, his power got basically chucked out of him. So, this whole element of the lava that we see, it's very... Well, it's not lava, because as they're escaping, right, as they're like, okay, we need to get out of here, Asphira's going crazy. As they're leaving, you actually see this lava come down, and of course Jay has this book of Clutch Powers, right? The guidebook to surviving. And he's like, oh, if you say that, boo boo gaga, it'll relax your facial muscles and you'll be able to calm down. And Jay's going throughout the whole episode going, boo boo gaga, boo boo gaga. And everyone's like, shut up, just shut up, dude, it's not helping. And we'll see what happens. But, you know, until this lava starts going down, Jay's freaking out, the ninja are freaking out. They're all chained together, so they can't go off in which way in that. And this lava is bringing back these dead snakes to life. And they're all attacking them and all that. So that's basically the episode. It's the ninja dodging traps, and dodging lava, dodging the snakes, and escaping. And eventually, once they get out of the pyramid, they're surrounded by all this lava. And they all say boo boo gaga because they all think they're going to die. And they're like, well, might as well do what Jay's doing. Maybe it'll help. And then, of course, Pixel comes down in a helicopter and saves them. And that's pretty much about it. They come back to Ninjago City, and they're ready to go fight Asphira. This was a great episode, I really think. Definitely not the best, but as far as Season 11 goes, it started out pretty good, and then it got great, and it's still great with Episode 7. I think that Ninja vs. Lava is another great episode. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. My only issue is that, I don't know, there's a few animation things with their running, but it's very, very small. 9 out of 10. That's a very good grade. And I love it. It's a really funny episode at times. Not too funny where the humor gets in your face and it's not funny, but I think Jay's Boo Boo Gaga thing was pretty funny. While also being quite serious, and I had a pretty cool action scene, I think, with them leaving the pyramid. Now going on to Episode 8, Snake Catastrophe. Oh boy. This one... Look, I love Ninjago. I love the Lego Ninjago movie. I love the Ninjago Seasons 1 through 10. I love it. It's perfect. I also love Season 11, Episode 1 through 7. This one, not so much. Now, I wish I could love everything Ninjago. I wish I could. I don't love Day of the Departed. It's good. I don't love Hands of Time. It's good, but they're not bad. This episode was borderline bad, in my opinion. Now, if you like it, that's fine, but here's the gist. The ninja are taking their good old time to get to Ninjago City. They're very slow, apparently. They're riding in the desert on all their land bounty and all their, you know, vehicles to get to Ninjago City and stop Asphira. And really, the whole episode is another branching storyline, kind of like the one with Antonia and Little Nelson, where you actually see the news aspect of Ninjago City. And it's cool because the news, I can't remember the guy's name, but the dude with the Superman hair, the Lego Superman hair, I think it's like Ginger or something. The words on the screen are actually in the Ninjago language. Now, they could have been lazy and just put random crap together, but like, oh, that's it. But I actually have a Lego Ninjago movie book, and once this is available on DVD in 1500 years, I'll be able to take the book from the Lego Ninjago movie and essentially decode what they're saying on the news. And hopefully it works. If it doesn't, It's kind of lazy. If it does, that'd be pretty awesome. So essentially, like I said, you're seeing the news. You see the news anchor, and he's interviewing people, and he's having other people, just like watching the news. All right, let's go to, Bill over there to talk to him. Bill? And Bill's like, all right, yeah, it's really freaky out here. What do you have to say? And everyone's running for their lives, and there's fireballs happening. So it's very satirical to the news, and it's very funny because it's a very comedic episode, and there are parts in Ninjago where they try to be funny, and they're not, and it falls flat on the face. This episode, they're trying to be funny, and I think it really was funny, so that's another strength of this episode. I think it really was funny when they were doing comedic things. However, when it comes to the actual plot and the pacing, it's just terrible. The whole plot is just the news. And again, that's fine, because I like branching storylines. I like seeing the people and how they react to things. Just look at Star Wars The Last Jedi. When I do my December review of all the Star Wars films, this is what I will say in my Last Jedi review. I loved the Canto Bight scene because it showed Finn and Rose, but it also showed how the world reacts to war in positive and negative lights. Now, say what you want about Canto Bight, I think it's one of the best scenes in the movie, and it had great purpose. Because, again, it showed something that, it wasn't just pew, 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 bam, bam, it wasn't just fighting. It showed the repercussion of that fight. And that's what the news is doing, basically. It's showing how people react to the chaos in either terrific ways by running or acting really funny by nervousness or just being scared and freaking out and crying. So I think that was really cool. However, the pacing falls flat when it tries to be something that it's not. Because when you're thinking about it, it's like the ninja are taking their really good old time. And I'd rather be watching the ninja fight the pyro snakes and Asphyra than have, like, literally, there's a part in this where the guy's like, okay, now to cut to commercial. And I'm like, oh, they're going to do the black thing. Or actually cut to commercial. Or something. But they actually show commercials in the episode. And yeah, it's clever because they're actually like, there's a sunblock one. And the guy has, long hair. And he's like, oh, this is SPF 3000 or something. And there's fireballs. So the commercials are in real time. But it just doesn't work. It's like, as a viewer, I don't want to watch funny commercials in Ninjago. That would be something to see in Lego City Adventures. A funny show. I want to see, when he says cut to commercial, like, go to the ninja, and then have them, fighting pyro snakes, and then go back to the news guy and have, like, one or two funny moments. So I think that scene really destroyed it for me. And this is not a bad episode, don't get me wrong. It's not bad at all. It's actually average. It's not good, not great, not bad either. It's okay, And I think that's because they wanted to do something that they're not used to, and that's being funny, succeeding in being funny, but also just the plot and the whole thing of this episode is just the news for 11 minutes. And to me, maybe it's Cartoon Network's F up because they only play 2 episodes a freaking week, or weekend, Saturday, and they're only 11 minutes each. So I almost kind of felt robbed watching this, because I'm like, nothing happened. It was just this news guy, and then they cut the commercial, and it was funny, and that's it. It was like, why, and now I have to wait till next week, So maybe once I get this DVD, whenever it comes out, and I watch, like, the first, and I watch, like, 4 in a row or something, the pacing will be better, but on its own, the pacing was really bad. But I do like the ending. The best part was the news thing, that whole idea, that was kind of clever, and then the end where the ninja actually arrive in Ninjago City, and one of the pyro snakes shoots a fireball, and Jay and Lloyd kind of dodge, and then they go, poof, it was in the trailer. And that's a really cool shot. And then you just saw a little bit of a fight scene. Snakes run away, and Cole helps a civilian. And then that's it. It goes to Asphyra, and this is interesting. This is another good part of the episode, because she talks about being banished and wanting revenge and vengeance. And I will get my revenge, And she goes, revenge, revenge! And then she gets cut off. And I think that's funny. And then she kind of like shoots a fireball in the camera, and the episode ends. So there are some clever moments in here. There are some funny moments. But again, it's just not... I don't know, it didn't have that oomph. It was kind of boring for a Ninjago episode just to see these news guys. And I did like the plot, and I knew what they were going for, but in execution, I don't think it worked too well for me. However, going back to what Asphyra said about the whole, vengeance thing, I think my theory, and again, this is just a theory, I'm like, my #1 franchise is Ninjago, so I put a lot of thinking into it. And I think that Clutch Powers could be the guy, because if you've seen the Clutch Powers movie, he's an adventurer. Now he's not, he's more of a professor. A grizzled fake-out, almost. But he could have done something like that. Maybe during one of his older adventures, he tracked Asphyra. Or, hear me out here, Garmadon trapped her. Because there's a scene in the trailer where you see young Wu and young Garmadon. And it looks like they're by a pyramid or they're by some kind of temple. So maybe Garmadon trapped Asphira in there, and that's why in Season 10, because remember at the end of March of the Oni, he just books. He's like, oh, F this, I'm out, you know. But he's still evil. Even though he's not as evil as Season 8 and 9, Season 10, he does help his son Lloyd. He does help his friends and family, but he is still evil. You know, he's not like changing like in Season 2. He's just still evil. So maybe once, because they're not just going to leave Garmadon out in the open. You know, they're not just going to be like, oh, you know, he was bad and now he's just gone forever. We're never touching that again. No. Just like the Hands of Time, just like Garmadon, they're going to come back. I can almost guarantee it. I'm not so sure about Hands of Time. We'll have to see, because they weren't the best villains. They were okay. But Garmadon, this really evil version of Garmadon, is my favorite ever, and it's so cool. And I really, really, really hope that they do something with it. I hope. I really, really hope. They don't just mess with them. Anyway, I'm going to give, again, I give the first episode a 9. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. It was average. I enjoyed it. Make sure to tell me in the comments what you thought about each episode. I can't wait to see what happens next Saturday with Garmadon, especially in the future. And to close up, we're almost done with the fire chapter, because I believe the first 15 are fire, the last 15 are ice. We'll have to see what happens. Again, this was a bit of a bad episode in my opinion. Not terrible, but not great either. Not to Ninjago standards. However, Season 11 is still a great season. Not my favorite, but it's up there with my favorites still. Just because one bad episode, don't think I hate the show. Don't think I hate the episode. It was a fine episode. It just lacked in a few things which I wanted them to be stronger in. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the review. This is like the first time I ever didn't really like a Ninjago episode, so I kind of felt strange after watching. I was like, I kind of sucked. But it is what it is. Not terrible, not good. It was okay. Thank you, guys. And again, I can't wait to review more. Tell me what you think in the comments, and we'll see you guys in the next video.